Greetings everybody, welcome back to Marvel Avengers Alliance here on G4G. I'm your host, Napalm Dawn, and today we're here for the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. I've got my Fallout shirt on over here. This came with my copy of Fallout 4. So let's go ahead and dive right into today's episode. Background music is brought to you by the original Metroid soundtrack. This is Metroid for the NES. Since I did Rygar the other day, I've decided to go ahead and pull up Metroid. Quite a complicated game back then, because if you remember, there was no internet. So unless you had a hint book or called the very famous Nintendo help line or the tip line, you're kind of on your own. But now, of course, with the internet, it makes it easier. I have one of my favorite drinks with me. This is Neurosonic. Love this stuff. Pretty tasty. Feel it wakes the brain up a little bit. So, really not much to go over today. There seems to be some kind of a sale going on in the store. As I see Mighty Thor there, we have 9 days left in PvP, so this is not the last weekend, but the next to the last. PvP today for me was, my god, was it a nightmare. I mean, if you had been watching the stream of it, I was just losing my mind. I went to bed at 17:32 and started to try to counter my losses over here at 16:93. Didn't have much to make up. Started with a loss, won a few. I mean, it was just such a bad day. I had a follow-up team take me out. I lost to the same Pesty Enchantress team with 37k hit points twice. Not in a row, but in the same session. They were like 3 or 4 matches apart. Yeah, just bad all around. I will say that where I am now on the ladder, I have seen a lot of scrolls of ruta showing up. And I've actually decided to change around my defense slightly. My defense now has a tactician agent, along with the Scroll of Ruta and the Lantern of Doom, the Grace Note, the Hugins Eye, the Weather Control Device. The reason why I decided to do this is in Kingfisher's video for his Spitlord team-up, he actually faces off against my defense. Believe me, it shocked the hell out of me to be watching somebody else's video and see my defense show up. And my agent, which had the Mystic at the time, and basically that was the only change, is that the Mystic was here where the Lantern of Doom is. All he did in his 2 turns was use the Mystic. He used it once on Kingfisher, good, shut down his tech, but he didn't use any of his quick actions whatsoever, and that was so disappointing. So I have decided to go Tactician, which means I'm immune to Exhausted, still keeping Molly in, still keeping Null, but I have moved in the Lantern of Doom. Hopefully, in round 1, I use the Scroll and the Lantern of Doom's magical debuffs, and then they're just going to be kind of screwed from that. The Hugins Eye is in the first position because it hides some of what my agent is running because nothing appears in my hand. I know if I see this scroll in the agent's hand, I go for them like full bore. What I seemed to be victimized with today was people running the scroll and then Emma Frost, which was basically locking in the psychic taps, the migraines, and everything. Plus, with the pre-fire ISO or just infiltrator Emma being out on the field, it meant until she was generalized or had the inability to run counterattacks, using my weather control device's Fire Tornado was not in the cards, and that severely hampered how I take care of matches and everything. So it was a very, very rough day. So we see in the store that there is a Mighty Thor that is available over here. I can't tell what else is going on, because potentially there are other things up for sale that I actually own. But we'll take a look at Mighty Thor and we'll discuss whether or not he is a worthy pickup. Of course, Thor's suits have gotten really robust with the fact that, you know, as the Age of Ultron, he has the original Avengers, he has Mighty, He's got a lot of uniforms available. I mean, he's up to 9. He's pretty close to having double-digit amounts of uniforms over here. So, his default suit, of course, is the Bruiser. And there certainly was a heyday in which Thor was quite powerful. Thor and Iron Patriot were often known as a sweeper team because he would often lead combat with the big AoE. Even if he didn't lead combat with AoE, he certainly ramped up for some pretty big single target. Then we got Modern Armor Thor, which gave us Might of Mjolnir times 2. The effect can be applied up to 2 times. And that was Bruiser, and I believe Scrapper. Then we have the original Avengers Thor, which was coordinated attack to all allies, cooperative defense with 2 Avengers present, and grants collaborative effort with 3 Avengers are present. Then we have Mighty Thor. So when I got Mighty Thor, I got the Bruiser version just because of the bonus. And this was one of my favorite Thors for a long time. Might of Mjolnir can stack up to 3 times. The entire party gets Storm Herald. Chance for follow-up lightning strike when attacking with or being attacked by single target attacks. It causes static charge. Then you have the dynamic empowered ISO that inspire bravery, causes static charge on all enemies, hammer throw, and empowered strike gain the electricity type attack, which also has the shocking augmented ISO 8, where adds electricity and static charge to the empowered strike. So those 2 ISOs kind of double up, but that was one of my favorite Thors for a while. And of course there is now the Scrapper version of it. If you have a level 15 Thor and you go with the Scrapper version, you've actually got something relatively good on your hand, especially if you team him up with Burb. Because what he'll do is he'll throw 2 attacks in the first round. If he is running that ISO, he's basically then throwing 2 electricity attacks, so your static charge might be going crazy. Of course, the Age of Ultron Thor gives him that Mighty Shroud, which is like the Mystic. It can be refreshed every other round when he does Inspire Bravery. Well, every 3rd round. So you would start combat off with it. It could either be scrolled or Black is Voided off, but then it falls off after the first round. It takes a while to recharge it. There's, of course, the Blaster version of Modern Armor Thor. There is the Blaster version of the Avengers. There is the Scrapper version of Mighty Thor. And then there is the Blaster version of Age of Ultron. Personally, if you do not have any good Thors, yes, I would get a Mighty Thor. Mighty Thor is very good, and in today's PvP meta, when teamed up with Burb or teamed up with the Scroll of Rudamaroth to ensure that the debuffs aren't cleared, I think you have a very powerful Thor on your hand, and I would certainly pick up one of them. If your Thor is not 15, the Bruiser version is pretty good because there's a lot of Bruisers in the meta right now, so you're not really going to create any issues. The Scrapper version is a little risky with your Nulls, your Kuurth, your Elite Agent, so on and so forth, and the Scrapper version would have a disadvantage against the mirror match, because BRB is a Bruiser. Then again, if you bring a normal Thor to that match, you're going to have issues with the Bruiser going up against the Blaster portion of Beta Ray Bill. The best one there is, of course, having a Blaster Thor. Then you get the crits on an enemy BRB. But I think Mighty Thor is really good, and when I initially did not get him when he first popped up, I did regret it, and I immediately scarfed up the next available opportunity to get a Mighty Thor when he went on sale after that. Am I going to pick up the Scrapper version right now? Not really. However, if I ever decided to run a Beta Ray Bill and Thor defense, the Scrapper version at level 15 would not necessarily be particularly bad. Beta Ray Bill has gotten very, very strong with his ISO that you get from that Asgardian heroic against Surtur and everything like that, where he's with Loki and Angela. Other than that, not a whole lot going on over here. We are in the winding down days of the Spec Ops. We only have 2 left. I've 5-starred mission 2. I still have 1 and 3 5-star. The Curse Potion Launcher I think could be pretty good if you have that item that follows up on people that have Bane. The Wicked Broom I actually have. If you have the Lantern of Doom from the gold sale, the Wicked Broom feeds it Unholy, which makes everything you have a quick action regardless of whether you have Snappy Service or the Oni Breaker will do it, amongst other things. Here we have the Reflective Mirror, high chance to avoid the next single target attack and return damage to the attacker. It is not a quick action, but it would be a quick action with Snappy Tactical. 3-round cooldown. I don't think it's that great, but the fetish is over here. I'm skipping past the fetish because I already have it, and I'm going for the craft. If I do get it to a point where it costs less to buy the mystic ingredients and craft it than it does to actually buy it outright, then I would likely do it. Other than that, unfortunately, not much to report on today. I will say, outside of Marvel Avengers Alliance here on Facebook, we have lots of good things going on in other Marvel games. Marvel Contest of Champions has Guillotine and now has Spider-Gwen over there. Marvel Future Fight has some new people in, I believe, Lash, a Wolf Guy, the human version of Thor, Agent Coulson. There's a lot going on over there. And Marvel Heroes is also doing quite a bit too. This should know who I am, but Marvel Heroes now has Spider-Gwen as a suit for Spider-Man. Magic is coming, and also Kitty Pryde and Blade have come out in the game, and Iron Fist is going to be showing up in Marvel Heroes. So, if you're not into Marvel Heroes, now certainly may be a good time to give it a look-see. I'm excited for Magic, mostly because I like Magic from Marvel Avengers Alliance, but it's not going to be her Phoenix 5 costume in there. It's going to be Marvel Now's Magic, which is the black with the very big Buster Sword that kind of looks like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. And this suit, which is the New Mutants Magic, but in Marvel Heroes it's called the classic one. The Soul Sword is blue, and she has a robotic arm. I don't know what her abilities or passives or anything will be, but she is showing up, and that is actually somebody that I would get. I would be interested in getting Magic. She's actually the active team-up for some of my heroes in Marvel Heroes. I have Iron Man for 1 or 2, Groot from my weaker characters is a bit of a protector, and Magic, I have her with Kitty Pryde because, well, that kind of works. So, hope you guys enjoyed the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. Good luck in the last week of PvP. I certainly hope you all get where you want. And watch out, some interesting team-ups have begun to show up on the radar, and to me one of the worst ones now is Pesty, Infiltrator, Emma, or Infiltrator Emma with the Scroll of Ruta. Tactician Emma I think is a stupid way to go, and I don't think it's bright to put her on defense, but Infiltrator Emma is really strong right now, and she's certainly coming back to prominence, and it's all because of the ISO and the Scroll of Ruta. So, take care everybody, have a good week.